What we have here is a $100 compact 16 sailboat project with some rub rail damage. Now, this is a Texas boat, no title. And in Texas, if you don't know, getting a title to a boat is a nightmare if you don't have cooperation of the last registered owner. Know who the owner is, spoken to her, the family. It's easier to get the boat trailer title than it is to the boat. Well, I'm going to separate the hull and the deck, and I'm going to try to make a plug, use the hull as a plug, so I can take my hull copy of this boat down, and it is a self-built boat. This is not what will be registered. My hull that I copy from this one hopefully will be that. So right now, this is put together with rivets, and yes, they used from the factory what appears to be duct tape or another variation of that. It was white at one time, and it's just a fibrous tape. Now, it built in the 80s, so it's really just deteriorated over time. That's original equipment I've seen on other people's blogs and videos about these boats. Fairly well made, but the cheap and easy way of putting them together at the hull deck joint was with rivets. And so, you know, as you can see here, there's a gap. It's tight and opens up, tight and opens up. That's their weak point with any boat, is the hull deck joint. The crazing of the gel coat, normal. It's a 1980s boat. It's going to have some crazing in some areas and not in others. The hairline cracks. Over here on the other side is a crack in the mold. It's not a through and through crack. It's more of a crack in the gel coat, possibly from impact from the other side. If you spray water on it, it does not come through, but aesthetically it's not pleasing. So the top part of the deck, I do plan on retaining and doing repairs on and putting back on my mold after I hopefully am successful getting a title to a self-built boat. And there's no reason that shouldn't work. Legally, it will be a self-built boat. Am I being disingenuous? No. Have I done my fair share of trying to get a title for this? I have contacted the registered owner through the state of Texas. They're unwilling to sign a title over because they want to find who they don't know who they sold the boat to. They don't remember who they sold the boat to, who never titled it in their name. Because a lot of private lakes in Texas, the neighborhood this came out of had a private lake, didn't need state registration. As you can tell, it's sat for many years in a berth or on the trailer. It's, you know, complete sails, an awning cover for a boat slip is on top of it. It's not a boat cover. I have the mast and rigging. There's a slight bow to the mast, which should easily be taken care of. I do have the boom. So it's a complete boat. It just needs, it has the tiller and the rudder. It just needs a lot of TLC. Like most boats, like my other project boat, a Luger Voyager kit boat, never been assembled. Bought it up in Utah, and that's going to be less of an issue to register here in Texas than this little guy, because they just will not. There's no lost title. The last registered owner has to apply for the lost title in Texas. Because we're on the Gulf Coast, and because of after hurricanes, and because of boat theft, they've enacted very strict laws with boats and registration in Texas. Essentially, if you're looking at buying a boat in Texas, do not buy it without title. Do not. oh, you can get a lien sale. No, you cannot. Unless you have it buying a boat from a repair facility that has the lien sale paperwork, and you go down to the Texas DPS office or the Texas Fish and Wildlife office with the seller to transfer it into your name, don't buy a boat without it titled in Texas. It's a nightmare. There's just no easy way of doing it. If anybody tells you anything different, or unless they change the laws, this is 2019, it's just not worth the hassle. So, $100. Am I in for a project? Yeah. It could be a fun project. What am I into it? I'll be into it some fiberglass and some resin, which I have 6 gallons of resin. So I've got some spare resin. I think 6 gallons will make a mold and make a hole. And I'll go from there. Now, could I make a mold and make a hole and then re-register that VIN number on a hole number onto this boat? Yeah, it's got a hole number. It's got a name on it, but it's not going to do me any good. The state, I just simply build my own hole, lay up the glass, the gel coat, and take it down to the state and say, hey, I built this. So part of this video is to document that I built this boat from a mold and to go from there. Just a thought on deck hardware, fittings of any type, nuts and bolts. If you're taking a piece off, put it back together, and when you go to store it in a Ziploc bag. Itemize your stuff, put a label on it. Just write Sharpie on the outside of the bag where it was, left side, right side, upper, lower, so that you know where it went, where it came from, and if the screws went in a directional way. You could be 6 months, a year out, coming back to this part. And I speak for myself, I might not remember which way up was what. And you're gonna clean it and put it back on, maybe polish it, and it's gonna look shiny on both sides. Right now you can tell the bottom side is dull and the top side is a bit shinier. After you've gone through and cleaned everything, are you gonna know? I don't think I will. But that's just something I've learned over the years. Automotive, boats, scooters, just label your stuff. You're gonna help yourself.